Do you know legendary Pokémon that is said to be difficult to get along? Do you know Pokémon that is said to take more than 20 hours to catch?
Alola, today I'm going to talk about the rarest legendary Pokémon.
The fifth rarest Pokémon is a Pokémon that is too powerful and difficult to catch. Yes, it is a Pokémon from the movie that is the most famous Pokémon. It is Mewtwo in red and green. Why it is so strong, you may wonder it. But Mewtwo was too strong at that time. There are two main reasons. The first it is type. When the type was mentioned, some of you may have thought, isn't Psychic not such a strong type? First of all, at the time, Dark and Steel types did not exist, and only Psychic type Pokemon were able to have Psychic type attacks, so the move Mewtwo learned, Psychic, was fuckingly powerful. Second, its level was so high. After the Hall of Fame, you can go to Syrian Cave where Mewtwo is living, and the level of Pokemon that appeared in Syrian Cave is so high. The level of Pokemon when you became the Hall of Famer is about 60 at most, but this Mewtwo has a level of 70. The level of wild Pokemon in Syrian Cave is also very high, in the 50s, so it is difficult to even reach Mewtwo.
In fact, many trainers Pokémon were defeated by a Mewtwo single shot.
In addition, at that time, the only types of balls available were the Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, and Master Ball. So many trainers may have simply consumed the Ultra Ball if they had previously used the Master Ball. Mewtwo could be considered the real end boss in red and green.
The first this time is a Pokémon whose existence may not be noticed on crossplay.
Speaking of legendary Pokémon, many of them are heavily involved in the storyline, unfortunately, but the Pokémon introduced here is a Pokémon that is not involved in the storyline at all, and is located in a very confusing place. Yes, that Pokémon is Giratina, which appears in Diamond and Pearl. In Diamond and Pearl, Giratina, which looks like an ugly old man, lives in a place called Turnback Cave in Sandal Spring. This place can be reached from Road 240 via the Road to Spring Path. It is necessary to have a Pokémon learning Rock Climb and Defog. In addition, the map of the Turnback Cave is random, and there are only rooms whether you go forward or backward. To catch Giratina, you must find 3 rooms with random pillars before passing through 30 rooms. So whether or not you reach Giratina is completely random.
I remember the first time I played the game, I had a hard time reaching Giratina no matter how much I moved on the first try. To be honest, I was bored just by seeing the same scenery over and over again. Don't you think so?
Another reason why you struggle was that Giratina is a ghost type, so False Swipe, a move that reduces hit point to 1, does not work in battle. Third is that Pokémon that everyone loves.
If we were to do a popularity ranking of legendary Pokémon, this Pokémon would be the most popular.
This Pokémon is hard to both get to the Pokémon's location and catch it. Yes, that Pokémon is the 3rd generation Rayquaza. There are 2 main reasons why this Pokémon is so hard to catch. The first is Rayquaza's habitat. Rayquaza lives at the top of the place called Sky Pillar. The tricky part of this place is that it has a cracked floor. If you try to pass through the cracked floor normally, you will fall down and cannot even pass through except at the maximum speed of a Mach bicycle, so a quick change of direction is required. And many people had a hard time getting through. In Ruby Sapphire, you didn't have to visit this place for the Hall of Fame, but in Emerald, it was a place you had to pass through in the storyline, so I remember I had a very hard time getting to the top. The second reason why it is so hard to catch Rayquaza is because of its move. It has 2 very nasty moves. They are Outrage and Rest. Outrage is a move that causes confusion after it is used for 2 to 3 turns, so even if you try hard to catch it by reducing its hit point, it may self-destruct. There is also a possibility that it will use rest to restore its hit point if Rayquaza is in status problem that will be cured as well.
Rayquaza can be energized or self-destructive, that's just like a capricious girl.
So, Rayquaza is a very troublesome Pokémon to get. The second is a Pokémon that first appeared in Diamond and Pearl. This Pokémon is not catchable by those who have only played the Diamond and Pearl games. It's outrageous that you can't catch them if you only play that game.
If I played Diamond and Pearl for the first time and was told that I couldn't catch this Pokemon only by playing Diamond and Pearl, I would go absolutely crazy.
Yes, that Pokemon is Regigigas. Regigigas is a Pokemon found in the Snow Point Temple, but you can't catch it just by going to Snow Point Temple. Yes, to fight Regigigas, you need to have Regirock, Registeel, and Regice in your hand, and at that time, to catch these three, you have to bring them from Ruby Sapphire, and it is not that easy to catch these three in Ruby Sapphire. There was a special content involved. The Pokemon that needed to be prepared were Relicanth and Wailord. The required moves are Hold Diving, Dig, Dive, Strength, Surf, and Fly. After these preparations, the brain must be deciphered. The instructions are also special. Regice is to stay still, Regirock is to input command and use Strength, and Registeel is to use Fly. There's no other Pokemon to capture such special way. For these reasons, it would take more than 20 hours to catch a Regigigas from scratch, including clearing Ruby Sapphire.
I also have a very hard time until I fought with Regigigas.
Number 1 is the Pokemon available in Sun and Moon. To show you how to get it first, you can get it by collecting 100 of them scattered around the Alola region.
Isn't 100 pieces a bit too many?
That Pokemon is Gigarde. You need to collect 100 Gigarde cells and Gigarde cores, which is a lot, but what's more, many of them are limited to daytime or nighttime only. So many people may have been frustrated because they could not get cells or cores, even if they went to a specific place where cells or cores are supposed to be, and they had to wait for a long time.
I don't want to go through that kind of hassle, so why don't you just catch Gigarde in another version of the game? I'm sure there are many people who think like that.
In fact, in Sword and Shield, you can get Gigarde in something called the Dynamax Adventure. But Gigarde you can get there are also absolutely difficult to obtain. In Dynamax Adventure, 4 trainers must defeat a single Pokemon. To begin with, in a Dynamax Adventure, you can't use your own Pokemon. You must choose one of the Pokemon presented at random at the time of departure to land. Furthermore, when you do it alone, you have 3 computers competing for you, but they are very hefty and use a lot of completely meaningless moves.
They were so incompetent that people smashed the switches and stood them in a 200-degree path.
After defeating the opponent several times, a legendary Pokemon comes out as the last boss, and Gigarde is the most powerful of them all. First of all, Gigarde devastates the entire team with its moves, and in a pinch, it transforms into its perfect form and recovers its hit point. Furthermore, after transforming, its defense and power are so high that your Pokemon can be defeated at once, or battle can fail because of time up. It is a very strong opponent, and it is not a good thing that computers are dragging you down. So, it is said that it is difficult to defeat Gigarde unless you play with your friends.
How was it? I was most interested in the red-green Mewtwo. Since I haven't played red-green, so I wanted to experience a 70-level legendary Pokemon at the first sight after the Hall of Fame. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you the next time!